Guys, hear me out. Oh, wait.
This is CoryxKenshin. CoryxKenshin Impact. I know y'all don't like that. Genuinely one of the greatest YouTubers on the platform, a fellow black man, currently my favorite gaming personnel, and unfortunately the most inconsistent creator on the platform. Yeah. While Cory generally plays from all genres, it's safe to say that he specializes in the horror scene. CoryxKenshin has played and conquered more than 694 horror games throughout his career. That's a crazy amount of games, ain't it? Yeah, I made that shit up. Five Nights at Freddy's, Aoni, Scrutinize, Little Nightmares, the game we couldn't speak of until now, Non-Massacre, Blood Wash, Fears to Fathom, Poppy Playtime, Amana the Adventurer, and so many more. Most of these games defeated and unfortunately incompleted. I told you he was inconsistent. But the one gameplay that sparked mixed opinions from fans and even casual viewers from other social platforms for Cory's extremely laid out decisions is No, I'm Not Human.
Guess what?
He's finna get blasted.
Is this yellow?
You see, No, I'm Not Human is a game based on the Sebach town in Russia in the time period of 1980. But in this world, well, I guess you could say universe or solar system, the sun is about to explode. Not only that, there are people trying to get into your house and fucking eat you. Some of them also want to get freaky with you. They are called visitors. The only time safe for people to go outside is the nighttime. However, these visitors roam the night, and so in the morning, if you find yourself with a big booty Latina with some fine teeth, I'm sorry,
you played yourself.
You have to kill her. You will encounter multiple people and multiple scenarios leading to different outcomes, but the story ain't done if mankind didn't dig itself a bigger hole. Enter FEMA. Taxes taking human form. Literally. You see, in order for a specific visitor not to kill you, you are required to keep at least one person inside and say, no, I'm not alone. But this nigga pulls up, takes half your income, sometimes more than that, claims it's for the greater good, and then disappears. Sounds kind of familiar. All in all, this game is about making favorable decisions whilst dealing with zombie imposters, the literal fucking sun, and the government. Managing all this and your mental while literally watching the crumble of society in real time. That is No, I'm Not Human. It's pretty nice, isn't it? I think we're kind of living in that scenario already. I will now name all of CoryxKenshin's victims. The tall man, the cashier, or according to Cory, the shoulder girl, the immortal guy, cat lady, Joe Rogan, shout out Yo-Yo Wait Away, one of the sister twins, the nun from Non-Massacre, the scientist dude, the Zodiac chick, and the homeless guy, and also the happy gay dude. I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know if he's gay or not, but come on, you see the fit, come on, gang. That's a total of 11 people that came into Cory's house and never saw the burning light of the day anymore. And so with a total number of 23 guests, the mortality rate of anyone who dares to enter the Shogun dungeon is almost at a whopping 50% chance of staying alive. That's actually fucked up. But it's not that bad compared to Markiplier.
Hi.
I'm literally a fucking visitor.
Fine. I talk crazier than that.
The tall guy is the first, well technically second, or really third encounter in Cory's gameplay and also in the entire series. The morning comes, we get the first wave of testing, and so...
That looks like perfect white teeth to me.
No, it's not. Now look, his teeth are very arranged for an average... Can I even call this guy average? 6'8", give LeBron a run for his money, man. However, just like the TV showed, these are not white. What disappoints me the most about this encounter was that he had 2 energy and exactly 2 guests in the household, but he uses both energy on the same person on the same test. And what really pissed me off about this scenario is that if you were just to check on the other chick, you would have easily used that to confirm the tall guy's innocence. By the way, we actually didn't see that crazy outcome in Cory's gameplay, so please stay tuned. I know you guys don't watch any other gameplay YouTubers, so trust me, you definitely want to see this. Anyways, back to Wemby over here. Cory's final judgment on the tall guy was this.
See, they doing some bullcrap with the shadow. I know this dude just don't got like half yellow teeth, half white teeth.
Now this is one of the moments in the gameplay where I was like, okay, maybe this is true, but that's kind of dumb because it completely defeats the purpose of the testing system. If you had external factors influencing this test at the moment of the test, then it wouldn't be a test now, would it? The guests themselves might have habits and jobs that make certain tests guaranteed inaccurate, and in a way this is kind of one of them because he does admit to smoking right before the test. But then again, if you think about this, all the more reason why he should have yellow teeth, because how you smoking and you got perfect whites? Like, come on, that doesn't add up. So yeah, poor judgment of character on Cory's part here, but it's too late.
First time misidentify a visitor.
RIP. Now we move on to the cashier lady, but just for a while. I actually want to save the good parts. This guest specifically is special because the game practically implies using her and the tall guy on what to judge and what not to judge within this game. Pretty much a tutorial. Both of them used to tell you that you should not hold pity nor prejudice on anyone on their looks or on their stories they give. So with that being said, the show that girl, as Cory calls her, knocks on the door and tells her kinda incriminating story, but in a way where you have to pity her. She just got fired from her job and she goes home, finds out that her house is swarming with quote-unquote visitors and her roommate is pretty much fucking dead. And now, just like she said, she's trying to find a place to hide from the sun. With a sad story like that, of course you'd let her in. However, in the midst of her story, she kinda left too much incriminating details that Cory unfortunately doesn't take into consideration. After letting this chick in, Cory asked her about how she lost her friend and her house to visitors. After that story of street gas lighting, he doesn't test. From, now I might be wrong, what I would assume to be pity and simple testing misjudgments. We'll get into that later. Then Cory uses the fact that she smiled after being let in and that her teeth look messed up at face value as a metric to annihilate the tall guy. Not the best decision. Second day comes in and he does not test her, even after saying something that was very incriminating. So incriminating that even the player himself had to question her on this. Why didn't the sun burn you up when you ran away from the house? She couldn't answer, and then after that she started having a panic attack. Crazy red flag. But just like I said, Cory's conclusion was, well,
Hey, I don't know what the rules are. She's forgetting stuff. I don't know.
I'm not gonna lie, this kind of pissed me off, really, because even after that weird panic, he decides not to test this chick's nails nor her teeth, at the very least, just to confirm how they look when they are tested versus looking at them at face value. Now we get to the third day, and for now we're gonna remove this chick from the spotlight, and we're gonna include two more guests, the graveyard guy and the code guy. Or woman, whatever. Now when it comes to these two, I know everyone knows that one is clearly a visitor and one is probably not from initial interactions, and also their first testings. Now the graveyard guy had a story where he was hired for a job, and when he was digging, he pretty much found a visitor popping out of the ground, and the person that hired him for the work was just laughing. Crazy story.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna make a banger with this.
But then when we hear from the code chick, she just pretty much straight up tells us that they are as cold as the vacuum of space and they don't burn up in the sun even if they stay outside during the day. That is the most visitor shit to admit to, but whatever. Cory decides to check this chick's nails. They were messed up. Obviously this was kind of an inaccurate testing, so Cory also checked the graveyard guy, messed up teeth and also a bunch of gold ones, so yeah, clearly he passed that test. Third day comes in. My favorite character is dead. And by someone within this house, which would either be the code guy or the cashier girl. Guess who my money's on? But Cory decides to check the code guy. Obviously he was, or she, why do I keep messing that shit up? He or she pretty much is the most suspicious person here. And so Cory checks her teeth, boom, white as hell. Finally he pops him. In Cory's mind, he avenged the graveyard guy, but then for some random reason, Cory just decides to check on this cashier girl. And what do you know? She checks the fingernails and they're dirty. but not to Cory. Cory actually doesn't come to the conclusion that these nails are dirty because, well, I mean, to be honest, they don't really look dirty. It's just a bit of shade on the top of the nails, which could kind of be a factor it contributed to the art of this gameplay, but yeah, those fingers were dirty. She fumbles her own defense. Cory suspects way too much. He then pops this chick, and yeah.
She was a visitor!
She kinda got me fooled too, I'm not gonna lie. But you know what's crazy about this? If Cory were to check her from day one and messy her for every day that he kept her, he would have found out that this chick had every single symptom of being a visitor. If you check her teeth, perfect white. If you check her nails, established they were dirty. If you check her eyes, insanely red. It even gets to a point where if you check all three of these symptoms, she's just like, well, nobody's surprised about that. And then if you leave her for a fourth day, she just straight up tells you that she's a visitor and she wants everybody dead. To the point where the player actually gives you a free chance to blast her without using any energy. Now from just these three guests, I want to say what plagued Cory's entire gameplay, mostly the first one, not too much on the second one. First impressions, heavy assumptions and pretty much making up new rules, and the negligence of the existence of the sun, only taking into account the visitors. Now I actually left out one more person to optimize my argument here, and it's the deadbeat mom. Or that's how they call her in the Wikipedia. Anyways, he declined her because he thought that if she was looking for her other 5 kids, she wouldn't have just stopped at a random person's house to rest. This pretty much got Cory suspecting her that she was a visitor, and so she wouldn't be a threat to other visitors and then let her go. Unfortunately, Cory is being negligible of other circumstances here. This was her scenario. She was exhausted looking for her kids and decided to take shelter just for a couple days. Because she wasn't just scared of zombies, she also knew that if she continued looking for her children, she would get exhausted, pass out, and then burn under the day's sun. Her kid would have burned up in the sun too, by the way. A metric that Cory did not pick up on, and he continued to do this and the other 2 reasons I said on everybody else that came into the gameplay. The tall guy, first impressions, assumptions, and misjudging tests. The cashier girl, first impressions, heavy pity, didn't test due to his faith in her look at face value, also didn't take her son's statement into account. The cat lady assumed she wasn't a visitor because she didn't kill for like 2 days. Not gonna lie, I kinda wanted her to stay alive. Joe Rogan, assuming from the cashier girl that he was forgetting stuff, pretty much made a new independent rule away from the game's rules. One of the 2 sisters, sisterhood, pretty much just killed them out of spite. The other people that Cory let in were pretty much either taken by FEMA or actually rightfully killed by Cory. I'm kind of gonna put a cap on he killed them rightfully because he did kind of kill other humans out of spite too, but we're not gonna count that because he kind of did reset his game. So now to the guys that he kept out and the events that Cory missed out on. He didn't let in the mother and child, or they explained why. The arrogant and rude Karja sun worshipper, not gonna lie, I wouldn't have let him in even if he was a human, which he was. The doctor with a stain on his shirt definitely looks suspicious, but could have had a good reason why. Old lady, she's actually the one that you wouldn't suspect at first glance, but if you do check up on her, yeah, she has 12 fingers and her skin is literally peeling off mid-conversation. The weird dude obsessed with killing, I wouldn't let him in too, he's too weird. Husband and wife, rightfully didn't let them in, but for the wrong reasons. They probably were humans, but 2 people are a liability and their end, if you actually completed the game, was justified. Unemployed FEMA guy. Cory didn't let him in because his face had no emotion or expression, but the only reason not to let this guy in is because he is a FEMA agent. He's a former FEMA agent. He literally told us that without telling us. The taxi guy. He's a snitch. Fuck him. Now, letting someone in or not seems entirely up to you, but don't judge them just by face. In some cases, that could have some grave consequences. There are some cases where the info you get by the door is useful, but most of the time, it's pretty negligible. Now to the missed opportunities. While half of these guys were visitors, Cory would have seen these events or even endings if he let them stay or then brutally murder them. Code guy shows that he was actually a black hole. Cashier girl admits to being a visitor, like I said before. The cat lady shows her skills at ballet and flexibility in bed while you're trying to kill her. Not gonna lie, it's pretty funny how Cory got rage baited into killing her.
Ha, shoot the gun. Like, why is she saying, alright, I'ma shoot then.
The teacher literally takes your gun and takes a pump to the face. The plucked out eyes guy. I can't show that on YouTube. Shawty. Not gonna lie, I don't care if she's a visitor. I'm letting her in every time. You have a baby with her. That's why she died in the gameplay. But unfortunately, his game was bugged, so yeah. In all honesty, Cory played relatively well. It wasn't too hard to watch like Marks, but it was definitely raging and disappointing watching certain decisions he made. So yeah, I know that Cory fans are gonna be pissed off when I rate this thing, so I'm gonna give it a 6.5 out of 10. I know you mad, stay mad, nigga. Well, no offense to Cory and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? This video wasn't to promote anything about it. It's just straight up criticism on what he did wrong in the games because, you know, everybody was yapping about it. Anyways, if you want to see Markiplier blow your fuse about Public Playtime 5, click here. You're not clicking it, gang.